Every day, thousands of people wake up with what they think is a $1 million business idea.
Oh, absolutely.
Right, like a product they want to sell or a side hustle they've been sketching out in the margins of some notebook. And every single day, I mean, 99% of those ideas are just dead in the water by dinner time.
Yeah. And it's almost never because the product is bad.
Exactly. It's not because the product is flawed or, the market isn't there. It's because the creator is absolutely terrified of the technology.
The tech hurdle is huge.
It's the sheer overwhelming panic of trying to figure out how to build a website from scratch, process credit cards safely, and not accidentally expose themselves to some massive lawsuit.
It really is the ultimate bottleneck for entrepreneurship. I mean, people get completely paralyzed by the perceived complexity of all this digital infrastructure long before they ever write a single product description.
Which is exactly why our mission for today's deep dive is incredibly exciting.
It's a good one.
We are unpacking a super comprehensive 2026 source titled Easy Start with Shopify, from sign up to first sale.
Right.
And we're extracting the exact step-by-step blueprint to get an online store live in under an hour, like no coding required at all.
Zero coding.
And most importantly, we're going to break down the exact math on what this actually costs for you, the listener.
Because the scale of the platform we're looking at here is, well, it's difficult to overstate. We are talking about infrastructure that powers storefronts in over 175 countries.
Wow.
It boasts an ecosystem of over 17,000 apps, and it maintains 99.99% uptime.
That's insane.
It is. But if we connect this to the reality for you guys listening, those massive enterprise-level numbers are entirely beside the point.
Wait, if the enterprise scale isn't the point, then what's the actual value proposition for someone just starting out, like the person with the notebook idea?
The real value is the invisible plumbing. What the source material reveals is that the platform's primary function for a beginner is just absorbing the technical headaches that usually kill a launch.
Okay, right.
You aren't hunting for a hosting provider. You aren't manually configuring SSL certificates to encrypt credit card data.
Which is terrifying, by the way.
Right. You aren't patching server vulnerabilities. It's a closed hosted ecosystem. So the technical foundation is already poured before you even create your account.
Okay, so the infrastructure is handled. That makes sense. But that brings us directly to the elephant in the room, which is the budget.
Of course.
Because software subscriptions are basically infamous for nickel and diming new users before they've made a single cent.
Yeah, they really are. But the financial breakdown here is actually one of the most surprising data points we uncovered.
Okay, lay it on me.
The current onboarding promotion is structured as a 3-day free trial, followed by a flat rate of just $1 a month for the first 3 months.
Right, but I was looking at the two distinct budgets outlined in the source.
Yeah.
Because there is a comfortable budget and a lean budget.
Yes, exactly.
And the comfortable budget ranges from like $71 all the way up to $821 for the first month, which assumes you're buying a premium visual theme, paying for third-party marketing apps, and, immediately dumping cash into social media ads.
Which you can do, but...
But the lean budget, the math on that comes out to roughly $15.
Yep, $1 for the platform subscription and about $14 to register a custom professional domain name for the entire year.
Okay, I have to challenge this premise, though. Is a $15 store actually a functional business?
I mean, yes.
Because if my entire operational budget is the cost of, like, a mediocre lunch, am I basically just setting up the digital equivalent of a flimsy pop-up tent on a sidewalk? It feels like the moment a real customer leans on it, the whole thing is just going to collapse.
Well, that is a completely rational fear, but it really misunderstands the mechanics of modern e-commerce.
How so?
A $15 store is not a broken, compromised storefront. It is a minimum viable product of an MVP. What you are building isn't a flimsy tent. It's more like a sensory tripwire.
A tripwire. Okay, tell me more about that.
The strategy behind the lean budget is pure data collection. By utilizing the platform's high-converting free themes, the built-in email tools, and leveraging organic social media, you're putting a functional concept out into the real world.
Right.
You are setting a tripwire to see if a specific demographic will actually pull out their credit card and click buy. The entire point is to validate the market demand before you start burning your own capital on custom development.
Oh, wow. That shifts the perspective completely. So you don't need an $800 custom launch to find out if people actually want your handmade ceramics or your custom t-shirts.
Not at all.
You just need a clean, frictionless mechanism to take their money if they do happen to want it.
Precisely. It's a strategic choice to delay all those unnecessary expenses until the cash flow actually justifies them.
Okay, so assuming we are proceeding with this ultra lean approach, what is the actual first step? Because I feel like a lot of people instantly want to start picking out brand colors and designing logos,
Oh, yeah.
which seems like a massive trap.
It is a massive trap. The first step is locking in the structural foundation, starting with your subscription plan.
Yeah.
After that initial 3-month promo window ends, you have to choose a permanent tier, and the data strongly advises against overbuying here.
So what's the right choice?
For 95% of new merchants, the standard basic plan, which sits at $39 a month, is mathematically the correct choice.
Looking at the pricing tiers, the next step up is the Grow plan, and that's a pretty steep jump. Like it goes all the way up to $105 a month.
It does.
What is the actual trigger point where that upgrade makes sense? Is there like a traffic limit on the basic plan?
No, there are no arbitrary limits on traffic or sales volume at all. The trigger point is pure mathematics based on credit card processing rates.
Okay, break that down for me.
On the basic plan, your online transaction fee is 2.9% plus 30 cents per purchase. If you upgrade to the Grow plan, that fee drops to 2.7% plus 30 cents.
Wait, so you are paying a much higher monthly fee just to shave 0.2% off your transaction costs?
Exactly. And if you run the numbers, that tiny 0.2% discount only starts to offset the higher monthly subscription cost once your store is consistently processing over $10,000 a month in gross sales.
That's fascinating.
Right. Until you hit that $10,000 threshold, upgrading is literally just throwing money away.
That is an incredibly actionable benchmark. So we lock in the $39 basic plan. Now we enter what most people consider the tedious phase.
An administrative back end.
Yeah, setting up your regional currency, configuring auto-calculated tax zones.
Yeah.
But there is one foundational step here that completely baffled me in the source material.
Which one?
The source explicitly states you must generate your store policies, like the privacy policy, terms of service, and refund policy before you do anything else.
Oh, yeah. It is a non-negotiable step.
But why? I mean, if I have zero traffic, zero sales, and nobody even knows this website exists yet, why am I spending my first hour generating legal jargon?
To understand this, we really have to look at the psychology of the modern online buyer. Yes, these documents keep you compliant with global privacy frameworks like GDPR in Europe or the CCPA in California. But more importantly, they are a primary conversion lever.
How does a boring privacy policy act as a conversion lever? That sounds counterintuitive.
Think about the user journey. A prospective buyer lands on a brand new, unknown website. They find an item they like, but right before they enter their credit card info, their brain naturally looks for signals of legitimacy.
Right, they want to know it's not a scam.
Exactly. So what is the universal behavior when a user wants to verify an e-commerce site?
They scroll all the way to the footer.
Yes. They scroll down looking for a physical address, a contact email, and a refund policy. If they look at your footer and there's no documentation on how returns are handled or how their data is protected, their internal threat response triggers.
The scam radar goes off.
And they abandon the cart immediately. And missing those foundational policies actively erodes consumer trust. It subconsciously signals that this is a fly-by-night operation, not a real professional retail business.
Man, that makes perfect sense. But do I need to hire a lawyer for this?
Fortunately, no. You don't need to put an attorney on retainer today. The platform has a built-in generator.
Oh, nice.
You essentially click a button, the system generates legally sound templates based on your region. You spend 10 minutes adjusting the specific parameters of your refund window, and then the system automatically links them to your checkout flow.
That is so easy. You're spending 10 minutes to patch a massive invisible hole in your sales funnel before you even start pouring traffic into it.
Exactly.
So the legal safety net is deployed. The foundation is rock solid. Now we can finally start putting inventory on the digital shelves. Let's talk about curating the showroom and, product design.
This is a phase where enthusiastic beginners very often sabotage themselves through sheer volume.
Really?
Yeah. The source relies heavily on a specific methodology, the rule of 5 to 10. You should absolutely not attempt to launch a brand new store with 100 different products.
It's the paradox of choice. I mean, launching with 100 poorly optimized products with copy-pasted manufacturer descriptions is literally like walking into a disorganized thrift store.
That's a great way to put it.
The mental energy required for the buyer to sift through all that clutter and find something valuable is just way too high, so they leave. But if you launch with just 5 to 10 highly optimized items, it completely changes the atmosphere.
It creates the environment of a curated, high-end boutique. It forces intentionality. because for those initial products, the mechanics of the listing have to be flawless.
Right.
Your product titles cannot just be internal SKUs, They need to be benefits focused and immediately legible to search engine algorithms.
And the visual presentation has to do a ton of the heavy lifting since the customer obviously can't physically touch the item through their screen.
Visuals are everything. The data suggests an optimal range of 4 to 8 high-resolution photos per product, and there is a very specific psychology to the composition of those photos.
Okay, what's the breakdown?
You need the clean white background shot to clearly establish the physical details of the item. But you critically need lifestyle photography, 2 shots, of the product actually being used by a human in a natural environment.
Why is the lifestyle shot so critical?
Because it triggers the user's mirror neurons. A white background shows them what the object is, but a lifestyle shot allows their brain to subconsciously simulate the experience of actually owning it.
Wow. Okay.
But you also want to avoid decision fatigue. Fewer than 4 photos leaves the buyer with unanswered questions about the product's angles or scale.
Makes sense.
But more than 8 photos overwhelms their working memory and delays the purchasing decision entirely.
That is fascinating. Now, while we're in the product backend, there is a hidden field that the source highlighted as absolutely vital, even though the customer never actually sees it. It's the cost per item field.
Yes, it is arguably the most important metric for your long-term survival. When you input the retail price of your product, you must simultaneously input your actual cost to manufacture or acquire that unit.
Because if you don't, you are flying completely blind on your profit margins, right?
Exactly. The platform uses that hidden data to auto-calculate your gross margins right in your analytics dashboard. E-commerce is fundamentally an exercise in margin control.
Right, because if you are paying $10 to acquire a customer on social media, and your gross profit on the item is only $8,
then you are successfully scaling a financial loss. You have to track unit economics from day one.
We also have to touch on SEO here. The source notes that foundational search optimization needs to be baked into these products immediately.
Absolutely.
Like the platform has dedicated fields at the bottom of the product editor for the SEO title, which needs to be capped under 60 characters, and the meta description, which is capped under 160 characters.
And those character limits are strict because that is the exact real estate Google allocates on a search results page. If you write 200 characters, Google just truncates it, and your marketing message is cut off mid-sentence.
Okay, so we have 5 to 10 perfectly optimized, psychologically tuned products. Now we need the actual visual framework to display them. The theme.
The theme is crucial.
The source heavily pushes a free, pre-installed theme called Dawn, and it specifically warns against buying those flashy, premium themes that cost anywhere from like $100 to $450.
Right, and this really comes down to cognitive load.
How so?
Well, a premium theme with wildly unique scrolling animations and complex filtering logic might look beautiful to you, the designer. But to the consumer, it is an obstacle. The Dawn theme is recommended because it is aggressively standardized.
Meaning it basically looks like every other successful online store.
Exactly. Familiarity breeds conversion. When an interface utilizes established e-commerce UI patterns, the cart is in the top right, the images are on the left, the buy button is highly contrasted, the user's cognitive load drops to 0.
They don't have to learn how to navigate your specific digital architecture.
Exactly. They can dedicate 100% of their mental energy to just evaluating your product.
Okay, the boutique is beautifully designed, the products are loaded, the cognitive friction is eliminated. But none of this matters if the cash register is broken.
Very true.
If there is even a microsecond of doubt at the exact moment someone is trying to give you their money, the entire system fails. We have to talk about how the money actually moves.
The payment infrastructure is where the platform really flexes its muscle. If you operate in a supported region, you basically bypass third-party gateways entirely and simply activate the native payment processor.
Okay.
You input your business entity details, your tax ID, and your routing number for payouts. And instantly, your store is securely configured to accept major credit cards, Apple Pay, and Google Pay.
And it also activates a feature called Shop Pay, right? Which the source singles out as a massive competitive advantage.
Shop Pay is huge. It's an accelerated checkout mechanism. If a consumer has ever used it on any of the millions of other storefronts on this platform, their encrypted payment and shipping details are already saved to their phone number. So when they land on your brand new store, they don't have to type in a 16-digit credit card number or their billing address. They literally click one button, enter a text message code, and the transaction is complete.
So you are effectively giving a brand new independent store the exact same frictionless, one-click checkout experience as the biggest retail giants on the planet.
And the data proves the efficacy of it. Implementing that one-click flow can increase your checkout-to-order conversion rates by up to 50%.
That's wild, 50%.
Yeah, it completely eliminates the window of time where a buyer might second-guess their purchase while fumbling around for their physical wallet.
No, what about shipping? Because anecdotally, unexpected shipping costs are the #1 reason I abandon my own online shopping carts.
You're not alone. The statistics align perfectly with your behavior. Unexpected shipping costs are the primary driver of cart abandonment globally.
So what's the fix?
The source strategy here relies heavily on behavioral economics. It recommends establishing a simple flat rate for domestic fulfillment, something reasonable like 5.99 cents. But critically, you must offer a free shipping threshold.
Like free shipping on all orders over $50.
Exactly.
Let's break down the psychology of that, because shipping is never actually free. The logistics companies are still charging you, the merchant, to move that box across the country.
They absolutely are. The free shipping threshold is basically a psychological gamification tactic. You, as the merchant, bake the average cost of fulfillment into your baseline product pricing to protect your margins.
Right.
Consumers actively prefer the illusion of free shipping, even if the total out-of-pocket cost is identical.
Because nobody wants to feel like they're paying for a service, they just want to pay for the physical good.
Correct. But the threshold itself, setting the free shipping mark at $50, is a mechanism to increase your average order value.
Oh, I see where this is going.
Right. If a customer has $40 worth of goods in their cart, they will almost always add another $15 item just to avoid paying a $6 shipping penalty.
They are rationally spending more money overall to avoid an irrational feeling of being penalized.
Exactly.
It is brilliant. All right, the cash register is optimized, the shipping logic is set, but before we remove the password protection and let the public in, there is one final mandatory step mentioned in the source: the dress rehearsal.
Yes. You have to run a simulated transaction.
Yeah.
Do not skip the test order.
To me, this is the exact equivalent of a restaurant running a soft opening for close friends and family. You know, you have to physically verify that the kitchen can actually cook the menu, that the waitstaff knows table numbers, and that the credit card machines actually communicate with the bank before you open the doors to the real critics.
That is the perfect analogy. You basically switch your payment gateway into test mode, which allows you to use dummy credit card numbers. Then you navigate to your own live storefront, act as a consumer, and purchase your own product.
You are stress testing the entire architecture.
Exactly. You are verifying that the visual cart loads properly. You are ensuring that the shipping logic actually applies the $50 free shipping threshold correctly and didn't accidentally offer free overnight shipping to international territories.
Which would be a nightmare.
A total nightmare. You are checking that the automated confirmation email actually hits your inbox and looks professional. And finally, you are verifying that the order populates correctly in your back-end fulfillment dashboard.
So you are catching the catastrophic errors in a contained, simulated environment rather than letting a real customer with a real credit card discover that your checkout loop is broken.
Exactly. And once the test order is successful and the payment gateway is switched back to live mode, you remove the password. The store is officially live on the internet.
Which is a massive milestone. But the source material delivers a very sobering reality check at this exact moment. A live store with 0 visitors makes exactly 0 sales. Like, build it and they will come, absolutely does not apply to the internet.
It does not. The engineering phase is over. The acquisition phase begins.
The source outlines a very specific timeline for traffic generation, breaking down acquisition channels by how quickly they actually yield results. Let's walk through that sequence.
Sure. The most immediate channel is your personal network. This is instant. You distribute the link to your friends, family, and existing personal social media followers.
Right.
This is historically where your first 1 to 5 foundational sales originate. After that, the next fastest lever is paid social media, specifically targeted ads on platforms like Facebook and Instagram.
And you don't need a massive corporate budget for this, right?
Not at all. A micro budget of $5 to $20 a day is sufficient to prime the algorithm. Paid social relies on interruption marketing. It is highly effective for visual products that trigger immediate emotional impulse buys.
Okay.
You can turn a campaign on and see targeted traffic hitting your site within 24 to 72 hours.
And then on the opposite end of the spectrum, the slowest but most sustainable channel is SEO.
Right. Search engine optimization is a compounding asset. Producing high-quality written content and meticulously optimizing your product pages takes a minimum of 3 to 6 months for search engines to index and rank.
It's a long game.
It requires patience, yes. But once established, it provides a consistent stream of high-intent organic traffic that you don't have to pay for per click.
Speaking of not paying for things, the source material highlighted two incredibly powerful, totally free tools built into the ecosystem that honestly blew me away. The first is the native Google and YouTube integration.
Oh, this is crucial for search intent products.
Exactly. Because unlike social media ads, where you are interrupting someone looking at photos of their friends, Google Shopping puts your product in front of someone actively typing "buy handmade blue ceramic mug" into a search bar.
Yeah, the intent is totally different.
And the integration just automatically syncs your product catalog and lists your inventory on Google's Shopping tab for free.
It connects you directly to the highest intent buyers on the internet without requiring an ad budget.
And the second major freebie is the native email marketing suite. The source notes you get an allocation of 10,000 free emails a month directly from your operational dashboard.
Which is incredibly generous.
You don't have to integrate complex, expensive third-party software to build an automated abandoned cart sequence or a post-purchase thank you flow.
Utilizing those built-in retention tools is vital, because prematurely inflating your monthly overhead by paying for unnecessary third-party apps is one of the primary pitfalls that bankrupts new merchants.
What are some of the other major technical traps that kill a store's momentum right out of the gate?
Ignoring the mobile viewport. The statistical reality is that over 70% of modern e-commerce traffic occurs on a smartphone.
70%. Wow.
So if you spend all your time designing your storefront on a 27-inch desktop monitor, you are completely disconnected from how the vast majority of your buyers will actually experience your brand.
You have to navigate your own site on a mobile device.
You have to. Are the fonts legible without pinching to zoom? Is the Add to Cart button actually large enough to easily tap with a thumb?
Because if a formatting glitch pushes the checkout button off the edge of a mobile screen, you instantly lose 70% of your global revenue.
Precisely. But I'd say the single most destructive trap, universally, is perfection paralysis.
Spending 2 months endlessly debating the exact hex code of your logo's background color.
Exactly. The core philosophy extracted from the data is rapid deployment. The goal is to launch an MVP in 1 to 2 weeks with a clean, functional architecture. You let real market data, real traffic, and real customer behavior dictate your iterations rather than just your own assumptions.
Let's synthesize this entire journey. We started by demystifying the technology and realizing that the digital plumbing is completely handled for us.
Right.
We established a highly strategic $15 lean budget and anchored our operations on the $39 basic tier. We built a psychological safety net of trust by generating legal policies before a single customer arrived.
Good.
We curated a high-end boutique of 5 to 10 products, leveraging white backgrounds, lifestyle imagery, and standardized UI patterns to eliminate cognitive friction.
All crucial steps.
We implemented frictionless payments, gamified our shipping thresholds, ran a simulated stress test, and finally deployed a multi-channel traffic strategy. The overarching thesis is undeniable. The perfect online store does not exist. The best online store is simply the one that is actually live.
And that framework applies universally. Whether you are a complete novice executing this blueprint for the first time, a side hustler dedicating weekend hours, or an established brick-and-mortar retailer looking to digitize your inventory with minimal risk.
The path is there.
The architectural roadmap is entirely laid out, and the barrier to entry has honestly never been lower. I mean, you can literally manage fulfillment and monitor analytics from a mobile app while sitting on a train.
It systematically strips away every technical excuse for not launching. Which leads me to a final, slightly provocative concept I want you, the listener, to mull over.
Okay, let's hear it.
We discussed the onboarding promotion at the top of the deep dive, a 3-day free trial followed by a flat rate of $1 a month for 90 days. Now, the surface-level analysis is that this simply provides 3 months of runway to validate your product-market fit before the standard $39 billing cycle begins.
It is a significant financial buffer, yes.
It is. But I think the real value of that 90-day window isn't the financial discount. I think it acts as a psychological forcing function.
Interesting.
Human nature dictates that work expands to fill the time allotted for it. If you have infinite time and resources, you will infinitely tweak your fonts and never launch.
So true.
But if you know mathematically that the true bill hits your credit card in exactly 3 months, it forces a behavioral shift. You are compelled to remove the password protection, stop theorizing, and face the actual market.
I see what you mean.
So here's the thought to chew on. Does imposing a strict artificial deadline on your business idea actually increase its statistical probability of survival compared to having unlimited time to endlessly prepare?
It is a profound question about human behavior, because artificial constraints are often the greatest catalyst for actual execution.
They really are. Sometimes the most vital thing you can do for your ambition is simply put yourself on the clock. Until next time, keep building.